ACT Wazalendo vote for presidential candidates of the United Republic of Tanzania and Zanzibar. CCM says it will take measures against candidates implicated in corruption allegations. And in sports, the under-19 cricket national team starts training for a special competition involving local teams. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's start things off with the national news. Opposition ACT Wazalendo Party's general meeting in Dar es Salaam has voted Bernard Membe as presidential candidate for the United Republic of Tanzania after winning 410 votes, and Saif Maalim Sharif as presidential candidate for Zanzibar after getting 419 votes in the October general election this year. Earlier, opening the meeting, the chairman of the party, Maalim Seif Sharif Hamad, said that Tanzanians need candidates who will bring change, while the leader of ACT Wazalendo, Zitto Kabwe, said they will cooperate with other parties in the election in order to remove CCM from power.
Tanzanians want change, and for change we must get good leaders who will bring changes expected by Tanzanians. Our chairman has done a lot of work in communicating with political party leaders so as to make this possible, and today I'm very happy to see presidential candidates from main political parties united. We understand that an election is a competition, and we also understand that in competitive politics there is a lot of drama. We've heard from the party chair that you will guard over victory, but we ask you to do so according to the law.
Na mimi nikiwa mwenyekiti namtangaza ndugu Bernard Camillus Membe kuwa mgombea aliyeteuliwa na mkutano mkuu wa taifa maalum kupeperusha bendera ya ACT Wazalendo.
Jamani, Membe huyo, Membe. Nasema Membe huyo, Membe. Jamani, Membe huyo, Membe. Nasema Membe huyo, Membe.
Serikali yetu itakachofanya ni kuunda wizara ya biashara ambayo tutaituma na tutaipa kazi rasmi ya kutafuta masoko ya bidhaa zetu zote ili wakulima wetu wasipate kero.
And Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM has said that it has received complaints on corruption from members during the process to get candidates for various leadership positions in the upcoming general election, assuring that action will be taken against those found to violate CCM's regulations and constitution.
Na kwetu sisi rushwa ni jambo linalokataliwa kimsingi.
To us, corruption is something that is respected fundamentally. It is good sometimes for leaders to be taught manners, and we shall do so this time around. To put the record straight, there are leaders in the party who reminded those who did not understand the procedures. But this time we shall amaze those who thought it is business as usual.
As usual, inaendelea kwenye chama hiki.
NBC Bank has commended investment done by Kagera Sugar Factory to implement strategies aimed at addressing the problem of sugar shortage in the country. This was revealed by the management of NBC Bank during a tour of the factory, whereby the executive director of Kagera Sugar, Saif Said, said they will increase new plantations and improve irrigation infrastructure in order to meet national sugar production demands.
Nimefurahishwa sana kuona uwekezaji.
I'm very happy to see an investment of international standard invested so far I'm pleased as a bank to see our loans have been used accordingly, and it is my hope that investment phases going on will go hand in hand with our fifth phase government objective.
Nianze kwa kutoa shukrani za dhati kwa Mheshimiwa Rais Dr. John Pombe Magufuli.
I would like to start by commending Honorable President Dr. John Magufuli for having a compass to guide internal economy through the agricultural and industrial sectors, which has been a motivating factor. This is why you see this kind of investment.
And President Dr. John Magufuli has arrived in Dodoma from Dar es Salaam. On his way to Dodoma, President Magufuli stopped to address small traders selling maize, tomatoes, onions and other vegetables produced in Dumila, Mvomero District, Morogoro region, whereby he agreed to their request to expand the road and build business structures in the area as the current environment was not conducive.
Mnapolima mahindi yenu mpate mahali pa kufanyaje kuuzia.
When you grow your maize, you need somewhere to sell them. When you sell your tomatoes, sell them here. You need 50 million, I will find 100 million to build modern shacks here so that they can be raised, and when water fills up, they are not affected. Leave this to me, I will work on it, but I know if I give you the money, it will be misused. I would rather give the regional or district commissioner so that I can manage them effectively.
International airlines KLM and Qatar started flights to Tanzania, carrying big numbers of passengers who include tourists. Welcoming the tourists at Kilimanjaro International Airport, the regional commissioner of Kilimanjaro, Anna Mkwira, emphasized that measures were being taken to ensure health security of visitors.
We've proven to the world that you can defeat fear. Thirdly, we've proven that there was COVID-19, which scared us, but we've managed and we are going on with other things, and that we are open and the world can come and visit us. The government of Holland and the government of France are sure that a lot of effort has been put by the fifth phase government in making sure there is hope for Tanzanians, but not just Tanzanians, but all nations of the world. This is why you see a lot of visitors are coming in. This is another opportunity in our tourism sector, and Tanzanians should be proud.
The Southern Africa Development Community SADC, a troika organ on politics, defense and security, has convened to discuss how to restore peace and security in the Democratic Republic of Congo so that the country can make development progress.
The Southern African Development Community has various types of meetings. Today we had a meeting of ministers, and later we will have a meeting of heads of states for politics, defense and safety, as well as 3 countries providing officers for the Force Intervention Brigade Defense and Safety in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And those countries are United Republic of Tanzania, South Africa and Malawi. Since last year, SADC and the United Nations have been in talks on how to strengthen the brigade and safety, especially in the east of the DRC, which has had various rebel groups causing unrest.
And that is all for the national news. International news is next. And in international news, the president of Lebanon, Michel Aoun, has called for an emergency cabinet meeting on Wednesday, stating that a 2-week state of emergency should be declared following a massive explosion in Beirut that killed at least 100 people and injured 4,000 others. The blast has been linked to some 2,750 tons of confiscated ammonium nitrate that were being stored in a warehouse at the port of Beirut for 6 years. And Kenya's Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has confirmed that 48 members of the same family in Migori have contracted the coronavirus. He said that the infection transmission was triggered by one member of the family who had traveled to Migori from Nairobi despite advice from the Health Ministry to avoid unnecessary travel upcountry.
On our COVID-19 statistics today, some 671 people have tested positive from a sample size of 6,200 in the last 24 hours. That means that today Kenya has 23,873 positive cases. Our cumulative tests now stand at 329,123. 633 of those people are Kenyans, while 38 are foreigners.
And the president of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye, has warned government executives who fail to implement their responsibilities that they will be dismissed. The warning comes after some police officers were sacked due to allegations of corruption and harassment of citizens.
In everyone's jobs, the government will use an expert so that it is productive. This government has come for development as commanders to lead the fight against poverty, because we have learned that poverty is an enemy. That is why any government official who is not accountable will be fired.
Research organization World International in Uganda has said it has conducted opinion polls which show that President Yoweri Museveni is the most popular and most likely to win the general election in the country early next year. It's back to school in Germany, and this is likely to be a school year like no other. Authorities are grappling with how to teach hundreds of thousands of students while keeping them, their teachers and their families safe from the ongoing pandemic. For more, we now turn to William Glucroft, a correspondent with our media partner Deutsche Welle in Berlin. So, William, what's the back-to-school plan in Germany?
Well, back-to-school plan, or better said, back-to-school plans, because Germany, being a federal system, has 16 states, and each one of those states gets to develop its own plan for education, and to that matter, largely the health policy as well in those states. This is all being decided at a state level. That means the rules change from state to state. It's also important to note that schools go back in Germany on a rolling basis, because not all schools end at the same time, therefore not all schools start at the same time. We had one state in northern Germany go back to school already this week. Berlin kids will go back to school next week, and other states will continue from here on out between now and middle of September. That is in a sense good news, because it means that without everyone going back to school all at the same time, states where there is not yet school in session can watch very carefully, as I'm sure they are, how things are proceeding in the states where there is school in session, and can maybe adjust things accordingly if things don't go so well as schools start to open.
And how are authorities mitigating the risks or possible risks?
Many of the same rules we see elsewhere in public life, especially here at work. For example, in the newsroom here in Deutsche Welle, we have to wear masks when we're moving about the workspace, but we don't have to wear masks when we're sitting at our desks. That's the same that is in most places going to be the case in schools, where students have to wear their masks going about class or going about school, going about their buildings, but not when they're actually in the class itself. All the usual distancing rules, the hand washing, the sanitation, the hygiene rules, those are all going to be in place. Two big things, however, at the schools. There's going to be regular and free testing available for the students and the staff of schools, regardless of symptoms. And there's also being designed what's called cohorts. That means students are going to stay in their own particular group throughout the day for the rest of the school year. And that, in a way, limits, their hope is, infections within just these cohorts, and if there are infections, it means that schools can quarantine just particular groups of students rather than just quarantining an entire school. But it should be noted that this is all very much in theory, and we won't know how successful these kinds of rules are until the schools are back in session.
Now, is everybody on board with this plan?
Certainly not. There's a lot of criticism, a lot of skepticism, a lot of worries about just how this is going to work. We have the head of the Social Democrats here in Germany, that's one of the parties in governing power at the federal level, saying that these ideas are actually an illusion, that there's no way to actually safely and successfully put kids back into school regularly, just like it's normal days, when it's very much not a normal time right now. Also, the teachers union has been critical of some of the measures, saying that many of their teachers are at risk, and it should be noted that teachers who are older, some of which are quite old or nearing their retirement age, are themselves in risk groups and might have to stay home or can't come in as often, which puts a strain on resources, puts a strain on just how many teachers and how much staffing there is to take care of all the kids and to run schools normally. But the important thing is, it's not just the pandemic and the public health that needs to be taken into consideration here. The UN, for example, calls the lack of schooling a catastrophe worldwide when so many children, hundreds of millions of children, have not had access to education these past months. It's really had a strong sociological, psychological impact on these kids, especially kids from poorer backgrounds who not only get their education but also learn how to be friends and how to operate with other people in a normal way. They get their food sometimes from schools. There's lots of reasons that schools, according to experts, have to go back to normal in some way, shape, or form while keeping this pandemic in check.
Well, thank you very much, William, on that update. It should be interesting to see how this progresses as we go forward. The report ends our international news. Business news follows after this short break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and now in business news. NMB Bank has allocated loans worth more than 161 billion shillings to develop strategic crops such as cotton, and that more than 700 cooperatives in Eastern Lake Zone regions have benefited from the loans.
After dealing away with embezzlement of funds in cooperative unions, we believe that they can bring a big change in productivity in agriculture, fishery and livestock keeping. Classes are ongoing, but in addition there are crops that are insured.
Mobile phone company Tigo is among companies taking part in the 99 Fair this year, whereby it is selling the Infinix Note 9 Play phone to customers who will be given 78 GB in free internet services for 1 year.
In ensuring each Tanzania lives a digital life, Tigo Tanzania has entered into partnerships with various phone companies to bring Tanzanians better phones. Today, in collaboration with Infinix, Tanzania will bring you Infinix Hot 9 Play, which will be available at the Nane Nane grounds nationwide.
The District Commissioner of Kilwa, Christopher Ngubiagai, has urged business registrations and licensing agency BRELA to expand its services so that more people can benefit with online services being provided by the agency.
Groups that have access to loans are facilitated by us, but if products that they produce are not TBS certified, how then can they repay the loan? We've planned to give training on how to use our website so as to enable our customers to access services provided. But we also use other platforms such as this one to reach our customers.
That's all for business news. Sports is up next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Position, Joaquinho, he did lose some length.
And now in sports. The management of Mkapa Stadium says despite being renamed, they have not replaced the former name of the national stadium. And the under-19 cricket national team has participated in a joint training today, 3 days before a special competition involving local teams.
This is a mixture. The youth from different areas and regions as well as clubs are involved. The importance is that the youth will get experience and the upcoming players will also get experience. Basically, we are focusing on the under-19s because they will get experience as they will play with the national team players.
And now the management of Mkapa Stadium has said despite being renamed, they have not replaced the former name of the stadium.
If things go well, it will not take a long time because it is not right to force the expert to hurry up because we want something with standards. You can hurry him up and then the quality won't be good, which will make us look bad. We would like to say in a very short time the name will be ready. We also wish to put it today or tomorrow.
And coronavirus travel bans could force clubs to drop out of European competition, according to UEFA. Here is more.
Final stages of the 2019-2020 Europa League and Champions League set to be played out over the coming weeks, largely at neutral venues. The European governing body has been setting out protocols for what would happen in the event of resurgence of COVID-19. A new regulation, which will apply to the qualifying rounds and playoffs of next season's competitions, will involve a club forfeiting a tie if their national or local government applied travel restrictions that affected their opponents. The rule requires clubs to inform UEFA of travel restrictions 48 hours before any draw. If they are drawn against a club from a banned country, they must find a neutral venue for their home tie.
And Ferran Torres has completed his £24.5 million move to Manchester City from Valencia after the forward met at Siki Begiristain, the Premier League club's sporting director in Barcelona on Tuesday. Here's the story.
His departure for Bayern Munich caused Pep Guardiola to move for a replacement, with City negotiating a price 18 million euros lower than Valencia's initial valuation, though there are significant potential add-ons for the 20-year-old who had a year on his contract. Torres met Begiristain to finalize the move, and it was confirmed by City on Tuesday night that he has signed a 5-year deal. In November, Torres became Valencia's youngest player to feature in 50 La Liga games.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.